Welcome to the Mccleoud Show. I'm Molly, and in each episode, I sit down with Mccleoud to explore the principles and strategies behind creating more success, freedom, and fulfillment in life and business. Today, Joel is sharing the daily habits that help transform his thinking, income, and life, along with the practical action you can take to begin operating at a higher level. Joel, I know your daily habits have played a major role in your life today, so I'm looking forward to getting into this one. How are you?
I'm doing incredible. How are you?
I'm really, really well, thank you. Like I say, so excited for this. So let's get straight into it then. So which daily habits have had the greatest impact on your personal and financial transformation?
Oh, that's such a great question. Number one's got to be gratitude. You know, gratitude hooks you up to the source of supply. And I always, first thing in the morning, well, I have a coffee first, but after that, I always go into gratitude. And as of recently, you know, I met one of my clients in Dubai called Devin, and he inspired me because he's doing gratitude first thing in the morning. He sets an alarm for the afternoon, and then he goes into gratitude again, and he also does it before he goes to bed. So I've been incorporating it more based off just being inspired by my client Devin. But gratitude is the attitude, because what most people are doing is they're always looking for what's missing, what they've not got. So a lot of people are under the impression they'll be driving around in the car, oh, I hate this car, I can't wait to get another car. The universe is not going to give you another car if you keep thinking like that. The rule is, if you're grateful for what you've got, then I personally say the word God. God is going to supply you with more. So first thing in the morning, I always write down 10 things that I'm grateful for. And I'm not just writing it down just to tick it off the box. Like I bring my emotions into play. And it might be small things. I'm grateful for my morning coffee. I'm grateful for my home, for my office, for my children, for my girlfriend, whatever it may be. But it just puts you into a phenomenal frequency. And what I find very powerful as well, and this is something that I get all my clients to implement, they write 5 things that they're grateful for that they currently have in their lives. But then they write 5 things that they want, but they write them as if they've already got them. So let's say someone wants, I don't know, a new Mercedes. The person would write down, I'm so happy and grateful for my brand new Mercedes. I love it. Now, what most people do is they go, I want this house, I want more money. But if you're saying you want, you're implying to the universe that you don't yet have it. Now, thank you is the vibration of completion. You can't be grateful and thankful for something that you haven't yet got. So when you turn around and go, universe, God, whatever you relate to me, it's all the same thing. I am so grateful for the brand new Mercedes that I've just received. You're implying that you've got it. Now, every thought is a frequency. You let off that frequency into the universe, and the universe can only bring like energy back. Now, will the Mercedes just magically appear on your drive the next day? Absolutely not. But you'll get inspired ideas to, you know, do this with your business, make this new offer, you know, venture out into this space so you can increase your income. And in a short period of time, you will have that money. So one of my biggest rituals, and I don't go a day without it, is gratitude. I'm always putting myself into what am I grateful for? Because 97% of people, Molly, are walking around and they're always looking at what's missing. Like I'm blessed so much. I genuinely believe that my life is incredible. Like I'm just getting blessed and blessed and blessed. And I always say this to my girlfriend, Georgina, your sister, right? I always say to her, I think the reason why I get blessed so much is because I'm so grateful for what I've got. I'm always thinking about, I'm grateful because I'm moving from a place of not having into having. And Wallace D. Wattles has got a fantastic book. It's called The Science of Getting Rich. Rhonda Byrne, who created The Secret, which is like one of the biggest books in the self-development industry, she actually wrote that after being inspired by Wallace D. Wattles after reading The Science of Getting Rich. Chapter 7 of The Science of Getting Rich is gratitude. And when we're not feeling good, remember, feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. So whenever we're not feeling good, we're not on a good vibration. So if we're feeling frustrated, we're on the vibration of frustrated. On that vibration, all you can attract to you is more things to make you frustrated. So he said, when you're not feeling good, you need a mental adjustment. He said, the whole of the mental adjustment can be summed up in one word, and it's gratitude. So whenever you're feeling off, it's as simple as getting a pen and paper and writing out, I am so happy and grateful, and noticing all the things that you've currently got in your life. Because I see ourselves as a tree. Now, if you're always giving nutrients to what you don't have, what's missing, the negative, that's the branch that's going to grow. In other words, that's the results that you're going to get. Well, you need to let that branch die through lack of nutrition and start giving nutrition to the things that you've already got. The house over your head, the food that you're going to eat tonight, the heating that you've got in your house. And the more thankful you are for what you've got, the more things that are going to come your way. I know that was a long-winded answer, but by far my biggest and best practice for income, for happiness, for mental health, for everything is gratitude.
Yeah, no, me too. I do that every night as well. What would you say to somebody that said, I'm writing down, what I'm grateful for, I'm doing the actions, but I'm not feeling better, I'm not seeing the results? What would you say to them?
Well, they're not getting emotionally involved with what they're grateful for. So instead of just writing down 10 things that you're grateful for and going on with your day, the whole purpose is to bring your emotions into play. Because when you bring your emotions into play, in other words, you brought your subconscious mind into play, and your subconscious mind is infinite intelligence. Like, even when I just think about the word infinite, like, that means there's no end. So we don't need to search for the answers. Our subconscious mind is infinite intelligence. Our subconscious mind knows the answers, but its language is emotion. So if we're just saying, yeah, I'm grateful for this, yeah, I'm grateful for that, with no emotions into play, then it's just stuck in your conscious mind and you're not going to feel some type of way. So what you've got to do is you've got to get your emotions into play. So what I would recommend for someone that's struggling with that is, when you write down, I'm so happy and grateful for my children, write down why. Why are you happy for your children? Because they make life more meaningful. You love spending time with them. I'm so happy and grateful for my home. Why? Why are you happy and grateful for your home? Because you get to experience beautiful memories in it. And the more you go into depth, the more you're going to bring your emotions into play. So if you're not seeing results from it, it's because it's just stuck in your intellectual mind, your conscious mind. Remember, our subconscious mind is in control of our behavior. And our behavior is what leads to the results that we get. But if a person is just thinking, oh, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, without bringing their emotions into play, then it's just being stuck in the part of the mind which is logical, intellectual, which is the conscious mind. The whole process of gratitude is to feel it. It's not just think it, it's to feel it. Now, this might be, if someone's never done gratitude or never wrote gratitude in their life before and they try and do it tomorrow, it's like with anything, your mind's going to resist it. I don't play tennis. If I go and play tennis tomorrow, my mind's going to resist it, but that don't mean that you quit. That means you've got to keep going. You've got to keep going and keep persisting. And through repetition of doing the gratitude, you're going to get better at it. If someone's never meditated, I don't meditate too often. I do it every single day now, but when you've not meditated for years and then you go to meditate and all of these voices just come in, it's like, oh, it's just overwhelming. Well, to get to the calmness, you've got to go through the thunder. So what do you do? Just because you meditate for 5 minutes and you feel that resistance, you don't do it again. It's like with anything. The first day you ever go to the gym, like the next day, like your body is just dead, like it's hurting. But through repetition of going to the gym, you don't feel that resistance as much unless you start lifting heavier weights. So if you're not feeling the gratitude, that doesn't mean stop. You're not a failure. You're only a failure when you quit. So just take the suggestion that I've just recommended of every time you write something that you're grateful for, just ask yourself, why am I grateful for this? And that thought will get you deeper into the emotion of gratitude.
Yeah, I love this advice because, like I say, it's something that I do every day as well, and it has changed my life. And everyone can do it. Everyone's got access to a pen and paper and can implement that.
Yeah.
Why is the beginning of the morning so important for someone who wants to change their results?
The first 5 minutes when you wake up in the morning and the last 5 minutes before you go to bed, they're the portal to your subconscious mind. So if you're waking up, scrolling, watching the news, like I used to know someone that used to go to bed and just watch the news, and I'd be like, that is the most terrible thing that you can do. The first 5 minutes in the morning and just before you go to bed, like they're the most important parts, because when you sleep, you're giving your conscious thinking mind a rest. But your subconscious mind never sleeps. So it's the portal to your subconscious mind. Now, your subconscious mind is going to work on the first thoughts that you have in the morning and the last thoughts before you go to bed. So you've got to be really strict with the first 5 minutes. Like what I would recommend for someone is, for one, you want to have a goal card. Like first thing when I wake up in the morning, and you know, I'm really direct with my clients on this as well, is the first thing that your eyes should see is your goal card. And you should read your goal, then you should move into gratitude, and then you should get into the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And then before you go to bed, you've got to protect that time as well. Like you can't be doom scrolling, you know, reading the news before bed, because yeah, your conscious mind is going to sleep, but your subconscious mind is wide open, and it's finding out the answers and bringing things to you based off the last thoughts that you have before you go to bed. So I'm very strict with those first 5 minutes in the morning and first 5 minutes before I go to sleep. It's a non-negotiable for me, and it's a non-negotiable for my clients.
I wonder if there's any times when you've not done that and followed those habits.
There is.
What that day looked like for you?
Well, that was most of my 20s and most of my teens. You know, just smoking weed and then just falling asleep watching a film, falling asleep watching something on YouTube, watching something negative, and wondering why my movie, my life is negative. I always say it like this: look, our life is a movie, and anyone can create their own movie. Now, your movie is your results, it's your life. Don't complain watching a movie saying, this isn't what I want, when you're responsible for burning the CD. And you're burning the CD with every thought that you have. So imagine there's a CD player playing right now. It's a blank CD. And throughout the day, the 60,000 thoughts that you have are just getting burned onto the CD, getting put into the CD player, and showing as a movie, which is your life. Don't complain at the movie when you have absolute control on changing it by changing what you're thinking. But when you go to sleep, you've got to be in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Like something that I do before I go to sleep, I just repeat over and over again. Like, Joel, how wonderful do you feel now that you've achieved all your goals? And the sleep that I have is beautiful, because I'm falling asleep as if my goal's already done. Like, I'm not chasing anything. It's already done inside of me. It's just a matter of time before I experience it outside of me.
And I think most people know this. They know that they shouldn't doom scroll, you know, when they wake up first thing in the morning. But why do we still do it?
Because they're programmed to do it. They're programmed to do it. Why do people eat junk food? You know, why do people work for someone else for minimum wage all their life when they've always wanted to, you know, set up a business and earn more money for themselves? It's because they're programmed. You know, we have a software inside of our subconscious mind, which is programmed. And it's the paradigm. And the paradigm is that section of your subconscious mind that stores your habits. Like, it's just habitual. They're not consciously aware that they're doing it. They might do sometimes. Like, I know I need to go to the gym. You know, I know I need to get a mentor. I know I need to, you know, develop my sales skills. I know I need to start posting more on social media. But then after that thought, what do? They just go into that unconscious way of thinking again. And they just drift throughout the day until, you know, it comes to the end of their life. And I always say to people, like, Earl Nightingale's got a great quote. He says, most people tiptoe through life hoping to make it safely to death. I mean, what a terrible way to live. Like, you're not getting out of here alive. I'm not getting out of here alive. But most people won't take the risk and start that business or move to that country, or are afraid of getting on a sales call and being rejected, or afraid to going up to that woman that they like and being rejected. Like, you're not getting out of here alive. So why are you tiptoeing through life hoping to make it safely to death? You know, fear and faith both demand that you believe in something that you can't see. But you can't wait to take action, to go to the gym, to set up a business, to put these habits in place until you don't feel fear. Like, that's not what courage is. Courage isn't the absence of fear and anxiety. It's just taking action in spite of those feelings. So you've got to press on. But the main reason is because people are programmed to, and they lack discipline. And discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and do it. You know, some people come up to me and go, you know, how'd you like going to the gym 7 days a week? I say, I don't. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's the difference, Molly, right? Between successful people and unsuccessful people. Successful people will do things that failures don't like to do. But do you want to know something? Successful people don't like to do them. That's why they made them habits. I don't like to go gym every day. I would sometimes rather, you know, sit in bed and watch Netflix all night instead of working on my business, helping my clients. But to have the things that you've never had, You're going to have to do things that you've never done. But most people are just not willing to do things that they don't like to do. And that goes with all of us. But that's why successful people just make them a habit. And what did I say before? A habit is something that you do without consciously thinking about it, like brushing your teeth, like putting your shoes on before you leave the door. So it's just all to do with the programming. You know, we're programmed from a very early age. And if we don't change that programming that's inside of the subconscious mind, we get the same results over and over again. And ultimately, we never reach our goals and we waste our life.
Yeah.
Such a shame.
It is. It's a huge shame. I think, yeah, a lot of people listening will be able to relate that to that. And hopefully now they know how to break that cycle. How do you stop personal development habits from becoming empty routines then?
You got to take action. You know, ideas without action are absolutely useless. So if you're going to read a book like Think and Grow Rich, if you're going to watch this podcast, you know, if you're going to listen to me, don't just listen to me and not act on the ideas, because you can't. I always say to my clients, look, I can't take credit for your successes. I also don't take credit for your failures. Like, I'm giving you the system, I'm telling you what to do, but it's up to you to implement and follow it. If you're going to add things into your routine, then you need to make sure that you're acting on the ideas. Like, Think and Grow Rich has got 6 steps in it that Napoleon Hill studied 500 of the most successful people that America has ever known. We're talking Henry Ford. He created the first car. Thomas Edison, the reason why there's lights in this studio, right? He studied those closely for 25 years. And he put 6 steps to follow for transmuting desire into money. In other words, to get rich. I wonder how many people have read Think and Grow Rich and have not followed those 6 steps. And they say it. He says it so many times in the book. And most people must just think, I read Think and Grow Rich and I'll start earning money. No, you read Think and Grow Rich, you implement and you act upon it. If you get an idea to set up a business, nothing's going to happen until you go and set up the business. Most people go, you know what? I'll wait to set up the business until I get confidence. I'll wait to speak on stage until I'm confident. Confidence comes from taking the action. So if we're not taking action, then absolutely nothing's going to change.
Completely. Thank you for that, Joelle. Yeah, no, I think the main thing is definitely the action, like you say, that we take from that. What morning action can someone begin tomorrow that will also move them closer to increasing their income?
Well, first of all, there's a few. I want them to start off with writing 10 things that they're grateful for. Okay? Then they need a goal. You know, you can't move closer to more income if you don't have an income goal. You need a financial goal, and to put, you know what, I just want more money. Like, that's not enough. You go out in the street, find a pound coin or a dollar bill on the floor. That's more money. So you got to be specific. How much money? And then I want you to write out 10 times, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have this amount of money in my possession. But then we've got to go into the day and we've got to act upon it. So I want you to write out 3 to 6 goal achieving activities that will move you closer towards that income goal. So this might be, you know, reaching out to that person that said that they're interested in your program, hopping on a call with them, finding out what they want and giving them an invitation to your program, which is the solution. It could be posting on social media with a call to action, but your income's not going to change until you start having goal achieving activities. And these goal achieving activities are not lying in bed, visualizing, meditating. You know, I had a client once and he showed me his action steps for the day. And one of them said breathing. And I said, what do you mean breathing? He's like, meditating, breathing. I said, that ain't going to bring you more income. You know, that you've got to be reprogramming yourself. You've got to do the mindset work every single day. It's essential. But then you've got to move into the physical world and you've got to start doing income generating tasks. So you've got to write down 3 to 6 income generating tasks and do them every day. Even if you only do them Monday to Friday, even if you only do 3. That means that every month you'd be taking 60 income generating tasks every single day, moving you closer towards that result.
Thank you for that, Joelle. That was great. We hope today's episode gave you something practical that you can begin applying immediately. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next conversation. We'll see you next week on the Joelle Mccleoud Show. Thanks for joining us on the Joelle Mccleoud Show. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and share it with someone who would benefit from it. We'll see you in the next episode.